Fernando, I've got my predictions for the Monza Grand Prix. What do you think of them? Okay, so let's look at what I predicted then. I thought this would be roughly the result. I did get the right 10, so let's see what I got right or wrong. To start off with, Sebastian Vettel was right, Kimi Raikkonen was right, and Max Verstappen ended up 7th. The first two, opposite order to what I thought they'd end up in after qualifying, but I think that's the same for everyone there. Ricciardo got past Valtteri Bottas in the end. I didn't think he would, so I got that the wrong way around. So if you just swap those two, and you put Hulkenberg at the end, and let's see, you put Perez, and then move the other two up, so you get Perez 8th, Massa 9th, and I was more or less spot on. So not bad going there. Okay, we're going to be driving around Monza in a Ford Shelby, and I think the first thing to discuss is the start. Off the line, obviously, Hamilton had a very poor start. He's had a few others this year. A lot of people were sort of suggesting this is a Mercedes start system and they need to sort it out, and Hamilton needs to practice his starts, but I don't really think that's what it is. Everybody expected him to just drive away from the field today, but he didn't, and I think that's just the variable start system, because if you look up and down the grid, everybody's been getting poor starts this year. It's just magnified when it's been the guy in pole position, similar to a few that Hamilton's had this year and Rosberg had in Germany. They also didn't get off the line well because they were on soft tyres. If you look at Rosberg, he only just made it into turn 1 first. Everyone was like massing around him. Then Hamilton in 5th, he always looked like he was going to get back into 2nd then as soon as it all settled down by the end of the race. The Ferraris, as soon as you could see they were 2 stopping, it looked like Hamilton was going to easily get back past them. That's what it did. It looked like, Hamilton really gave them a 10-second start and beat him by 10 seconds, so they would probably need another 10 seconds, whatever they did, to stay in front of him. There was a crash, the only small minor incident. I thought it'd be more of an incident if you watched the preview show. I said there's likely to be a big incident in turn 1. There wasn't, but Jolyon Palmer was hit by Felipe Nasr. Nasr said it wasn't his fault really, but he got the penalty, and everybody agreed it was him to blame. It was obviously his fault, but as they brought up, he got a penalty for the race that he was already out of, which was a bit strange, and you sort of wonder why, when they're that far back down the grid, Palmer was sort of saying, well, he should get a penalty because it didn't really seem to matter. But if you look at it from another way, I suppose, the next race at Singapore, they could be both fighting for points, so he wants to be as far up as possible in that. That was the only crash or coming together of any significance really. Then I think Hamilton, obviously, when the Ferraris did the 2-stop thing, they just didn't look fast enough. The strategy was probably pretty sound. That's probably because it kept them ahead of both Bottas and Red Bull, so maybe that was the fastest way they could have run the race. Further back, it all got a bit messy, but it all sort of merged into the positions I said it would. The Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button had quite a good race, and Fernando had this bizarre radio message that was quite funny.
Let's keep pace going strong till the end. Grosjean is still out there on 18 lap hold options. He may come towards us.
He was never going to get back into the points. That explains that message. He realised that, and and he thought the team were a bit nuts to suggest he might do, so he pitted and actually did the fastest lap, which was quite good. In another thing that happened, probably the only other thing that did happen in the race, was Ricciardo passing Bottas. He came from a hell of a long way back. Nobody really saw it coming. He's done a lot of those sort of moves before, but you didn't think he'd go for it that lap, but he did a really good pass from a long way back. No contact at all. So yeah, that was pretty much the only other thing that happened in the race. I think we're going to give this one a 4 out of 10. As I've seen watching it that quite a lot was going on, but as I think Martin Brundle commented on, this was one of the most boring races of the year, and looking back on it now, you realise how few things actually happened during it. So yeah, that's the Monza Grand Prix then, people. Okay, see you next time.